Sup, it's Titanium and I'm continue to play Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, right now I'm waiting for the miners to uncover the area where I suspect more iron to be in. Also, I can mark this area into this direction because there is some silver and gold. This also is going to be useful eventually. Of course. So yeah, I'm gonna uncover that. Also, it would be nice to get trade depot already. So I'm hoping you find the keyboard display pretty useful. It should clarify a lot of stuff that I'm doing without having to directly talk about it, since this game is almost fully controlled by just keyboard. It's a pretty old school way of controlling it, although, well, it's a pretty old school game with an old school interface. Yeah, this game is developed since 2006, I think, or 4. Yeah, I think 6, but it's gonna be released on Steam pretty well soon. Although it's good to take into account that time is relative and the soon could be later than sooner. But yeah, it's gonna get a refreshed interface when it's released on Steam, so the controls shouldn't be as clunky. Also, the graphics should be a little bit refreshed, so it will look more like a modern type of game. It has an independent developer. Basically, I think it's like two brothers working on this game since 2006, and most of the work they've put into this game, they put into making it as complicated and elaborate as it could be. They didn't really bother with graphics. The base game is basically a text game, where, as you can see, for example, this dwarf digging stones on the screen would be marked as, for example, D, and that's it. And the stone, depending on what material it is, it would also be just a letter. So using the lazy new pack, I am using this modification, let's say, made by the fan base of this game, to install a texture pack. Also, I just got some migrants, so let's check them out. The first one is a gem setter. It's not gonna be very useful, though he's high master gem setter. Could also do some gem cutting eventually, and I think masonry is what we gonna need him for. I'm gonna go to one of my miners fast to continue watching them work. And the second migrant is a weaponsmith, high master weaponsmith. Also, he would do some furnace operations soon when we have some furnace operating. Not anyone else yet. Also, in this menu, clicking U and L, I can see the stress of my dwarfs. They are all in negative stress, though that means they are pretty happy and not stressed about anything yet. So this is as should it be, at least in the beginning. All of the dwarfs, what they like is working, so yeah, they are pretty happy because most of them have work all the time. So this guy is a peasant. He doesn't have any labor skills yet, so he can be both carpenter and mason. And also I think I will make him a herbalist, and yeah, um, pretty balanced for now. I can later on make him just a mason or just a herbalist, but right now I need to split the work between them. Also, another guy is just a peasant, but I think we should be able to do some fishing in this water, flowing water we have. So he can be both a fish dissector and fisher dwarf. Let's see if he is able to eventually catch anything in this water. I will mark this as a fishing zone. So let's go back to the diggers. And that's 11 dwarfs. I think it's as many as we are going to get this migration, although I could be wrong. So yeah, let's go back to... Oh, there's one more, and he's a dedicated furnace operator, also a skilled diagnostician. Accomplished furnace operator, so I could make him a chief medical dwarf. I'm gonna do that right away. So his job will be to diagnose patients when that's required. He will also, on his free time, do regular labors. I cannot see yet if one of the peasants is fishing already. Yeah, he is fishing. And there's one more, an armorer. Let's see his skill set. He can also operate a furnace eventually, so one of the miners could be taken out of this labor, and he will be an armor smith, and also both the weaponsmith and the blacksmith can have metal crafting and metal smithing, so they could be making some like undedicated, let's say, items made of metal. And there's another guy who is a stone crafter, so he can engrave and do some masonry stuff. That's a lot of migrants for the first migration, and we are not even fully set with food production yet, so let's hope this will be enough. There's also another one. Which one is it? There's weaponsmith, furnace operator, armorer. Which one is it? It's armorer, furnace, weapon, stone crafter. I'm kind of lost here. Honestly, I don't remember which one is the new arrival now. Yeah, I'm gonna see eventually who has not enough work to do. Also, they brought some animals, so let's assign them if we can. Apparently no animals that require grass for food have arrived. So yeah, yeah, let's keep it that way. There's also some more iron in this area, as you can see on the top of this little room, or this hall. Let's say there's some more iron, so I will be using that for smelting soon. And I will assign them to dig that out eventually, but wow, there's two more. It's a leather worker and a beekeeper. So, leather worker, you will be a tanner. You are already a tanner, so you will be also a butcher, also a grower, and a herbalist, and this other guy who is a beekeeper, he will also be a herbalist, also a planter, and let's make him, we already have a cook, so let's make him a brewer, a second brewer, and this guy can also brew eventually. So we have, no, I want my food production plants to be orderly, and I want to keep them in one place, and this area is a little too small to make it into food production zone. I will have to make it a little bit bigger, and then also the food stockpile should be also a little bit bigger. So the medical dwarf is without a job, but he will mostly do some smelting. I need to build some furnaces pretty soon, and to do that I will need them to finish this area. So I can start with placing some wood stockpile for wood burning. Let's take a furnace, wood furnace. Let's place like 3 or 4 of them. 3 should be enough, more than enough. And we have some masons, so yeah, one of them is already going to construct the building, and the rest should pick up wood laying around and take it into the stockpile, especially the ones that are jobless at the moment. We have 0 idling dwarfs, so that's good, that's great, that's as it should be. Although, as I said before, dwarfs like working and increasing their skill in labor, although hauling job and just carrying stuff to stockpiles is not an actual labor that can get them skilled, so it doesn't reduce stress, though when they are done with hauling, they should pick up some actual job that will decrease the potential stress. So, since this is our stockpile for bars and blocks, we can get some actual smelters right now. Yeah, let's place them right next to the stockpile for bars and blocks. And we are gonna need a lot of smelters, so that's 6 of them already. Also, this wood furnace is ready, so no, I don't want to make ash, I want to make charcoal from wood, so we can start smelting pretty soon. Also, the bigger farming area is finished, so I can designate the dwarves to make this industrial area a little bigger, and let's hope they find some more iron, which they should. I'm gonna create a farm and another separate farm to have more control over the plants that are going to grow here. And that's like 4 separate farms, and this should be enough. Also, food stockpile is a little small, so we could just make it bigger. And soon after that we are gonna need some carpentry workshops to create furniture, and especially we will need some beds soon. They are made out of wood always, and our dwarves gonna need some sleeping space. So one of my miners is wood burning. I would prefer not to do that. Also, yeah, I think I figured out what other dwarf I got. It's a furnace operator. So we got two furnace operators. One of them got changed into chief medical dwarf right away, so he wasn't displayed as furnace operator anymore. That's what confused me a little bit like 2 minutes ago. So let's watch some digging, I guess. The second guy who wanted to burn some wood, he is already back to digging, so that's good. Sorry, my dog is trying to get my attention, and he cannot have my attention right now. So apparently, Kiwi Bird is fighting with one of the dogs. Speaking of dogs, let's say if there's any more animals that require pasturing. There's none. Going to this menu, I can also change the dogs into hunting dogs, although for this one of the dwarves will have to pick up animal training labor. Let's see if any one of them has that already. No, none of them. So the gem setter could be an animal trainer, also the woodcutter, because he is not going to have a lot of work all the time, since we only need a certain amount of wood, and when our stockpile is full, there is not going to be any designated wood and trees to be cut down. So yeah, so far so good. We have iron, we have the first smelting area, so I can already designate smelting of the hematite and make this job repeat itself. So this could be Plum Helmet farm. This is like the most common food, because it can be grown all year round. Also, apparently some of the water froze, so should be digging down already if I can. Although there's a risk of finding monsters underground, as maybe you could see in the last game I played. There was a lot of troglodytes and so on. During the next migration, I could already create a military to fight the monsters, although I don't even have a sleeping zone yet, and not fully functional food production area, and no breweries and so on. But yeah, this could be problematic, because they don't have alcohol production yet, and there'll be no water to drink pretty soon. Although I think they will live through this winter. They are not using this water as fast as regular humans, and they mostly rely on alcohol. It's like in the Middle Ages. They are busy digging out the area on level 0 and +1, but it shouldn't take that long. Yeah, I think there's absolutely no access to water at the moment, besides alcohol, maybe. from what they brought with them with the embark items. So yeah, let's pray and let's keep digging. There's already some iron getting smelted, but I don't have the flux stone, so I would have to dig down pretty soon anyway, because you need flux stone to create steel. Iron is not ideal on its own. It has to be processed into steel eventually to increase the value and quality as potential weapon, for example. Cave wheat and dimple caps, let's say, because we have a dedicated plum helmets farm already. They already are giving error messages of no water source, so they will get pretty thirsty pretty soon, but they should not die, I think. Let's take this moment to create a brewery, a still. Yeah, let's make 3 of them, because eventually that should cover our needs when we get more dwarfs. It seems one of them is already getting created, so I think they only need plants. They don't really actually need water to create alcohol. So let's brew drink from plant. Yeah, they only need barrels, and I don't have carpentry workshops functional yet, so they will have to use the barrels they brought with themselves. Yeah, they're digging down already, so that's probably better. Let's see if there's any flukestone and any caves underneath. Yeah, the cave would also have to contain a water source, but they often do. Most of the caves I discovered playing this game had some kind of water. Level minus, yeah, level 17, 18, and so on. Yeah, there's the cave. Let's see if it has water if I go lower. Doesn't look like it has any water, honestly. Oh, it does, so that's a mission accomplished. Yeah, they can just dig like they did right now, although I'm not sure they can. So let's undesignate that, and it would be better to move the entrance a little bit to the other side, or maybe not. Let's see. Let's make the main entrance to the caves close to the water source. So they can also do some fishing without having to do too much walking. So yeah, this level should be enough. And so let's do it like that. And I can remove designation here for now. Okay. Yeah, that's what I assumed. They are continuing here instead of digging down there, so right now I'm going to cancel that to make them go down near the newly discovered water source. Only one of them can go here because it's a one dwarf area, but it's better to keep the corridor pretty small, since if any kind of monster wants to go up, it will be easier to stop it with a trap or a military squad if there's only a narrow entrance. Tetrahedrite, it's also a source of silver. That's what they he just discovered. And now they will both be able to dig down, since the staircase is a little wider. Yeah, they're out of refined coal, so I should burn some more wood. Also, I could already be designating that for fishing, and also water source. And that should be okay. They already can access this cave, since there's a little bit of staircase from the first entrance. I will have to remove that later to have more control over what can enter my fortress from below. And they can continue digging here right now. Let's make this area quite big. They can they will be okay with sleeping on the floor right now. Although, let's create some beds. Let's create some wooden barrels. And let's get some buckets for giving water to the animals. Where's the bucket? Here's the bucket. So let's get 10 of all of these items. Also, getting some charcoal is gonna be good for the fortress overall. So let's assign some plants to be planted here on this plot. Sweet pots and quarry bushes, let's say. My diggers are up already, so let's do some digging. Let's make this area nice and even. Also, I can get some furniture stockpile already. So this area close to the carpentry workshops will do for furniture stockpile. There's no one being jobless at the moment, so that's good. And overall, we are pretty safe at the moment, besides maybe some risk of monsters entering from below. So let's remove staircase here. The miners will do that eventually. And after some of this area gets digged out, I will create first masonry workshops. Also, I'll have to start thinking about producing some weapons, but there's no flukestone, I think. No, it doesn't look like I have any flukestone, so yeah, I will have to dig deeper eventually before creating any kind of steel weapons, although I could get some silver ones, bashing warhammers and maces, probably maces. So there's still some hematite to smelt. Let's do that, and let's smelt galena. I think it's copper and silver. And there's a lot of that lying around. Also, there's no plants to produce alcohol from at the moment. Can be seen here on this screen with announcements. But no worries, I no longer need alcohol that urgently because I have access to, I think, fresh water. Well, more or less fresh. So where's he going to dig right now? Here, of course. And after this area is cleaned out, they'll go downstairs to remove the staircase. That could be dangerous to the fortress eventually. Keeping that that staircase up. So where's the masons? The masonry. Here's the mason's workshop. So let's get 3 of them close to the furniture stockpile. It looks like we are getting a lot of iron already from this red hematite. After that I will hold a little bit with smelting gold because it will increase the overall value of the fortress, and that could attract some enemies and invaders eventually, so it's better to focus on the producing the expensive stuff only after we have at least some military dwarfs training. Yeah, there's silver, so we could get a forge. We can only get one right now because we only have one anvil. But after this one forge is done, I can create more anvils from iron laying iron waiting to be used. This is still frozen, so I'm glad I discovered that water underground. Let's see if the fisher dwarfs... yeah, the fisher dwarf is fishing underground, so it would be wise to at least to cover this area of traps at least a little bit, so they don't get attacked that easily by monsters. Although there's no underground monsters yet on the unit screen, but they will start arriving eventually. Let's create some anvils here from iron anvil, number 4. Eventually I'll be able to create 5 metalsmiths forges in total. This will be enough for most of the game. And after that staircase is removed from the underground, I will finally start digging out some area for sleeping. First I will just create a dormitory, that means they will sleep all in one big area. Making personal rooms for them is not really necessary at the start of the game. It will make some stress go away, but Besides that, there's no need for that, and right now only one guy is stressed. We can go to him and check what is stressing him when we go to his thoughts and preferences. He was annoyed after having to drink without using a goblet. Was bitter after getting into an argument. That's not something I can do anything about. Lack of decent meals. Being unable to acquire something, but it doesn't see what. Tell me what. Unfocused after being unable to practice a craft, so was doing mostly hauling. Unfocused after being away from family. Yeah. We have to get some alcohol and goblets eventually. She's not that stressed right now, so it's nothing scary. Also, having no charcoal cancelled the production of anvils, so when this guy creates some charcoal, I will have to tell them to create the anvils again. Also, galena is apparently an ore of silver and lead, not copper. Tetrahedrite is what contains copper. So yeah, that's what I got to know right now. Let's create the iron anvil again, just 4 of them. This will be more than enough for the start of the game. And this area is almost over, almost finished. So the furniture stockpile should be bigger eventually, because there will be a lot of furniture getting produced and stockpiled. So when this area is finished, I will increase the size of it. Also, I will need a finished goods stockpile. By the way, let's create another forge. Yeah, I just got 2 more of them. Just waiting for them to finish the building. And after that, it will be time for silver weapons, I think. And because I don't know how long will it take for me to find Fluxstone. And I don't see any yet. Not here and not underground. So we'll have to do some more digging. That's how it is in Dwarf Fortress, you dig. Yeah, this area is finished. So furniture stockpile should be increased in size. Let's make it this big. And after they remove the staircases, I'll make a finished goods stockpile. Also, one of the miners is drinking, one of them is sleeping, and there's just one tile of staircase to be removed. So let's just make sure it's get finished when this guy is finished sleeping on the floor. Also, I think they are digging out some of underground trees. Well, if you call them trees, because they are like more like shrooms instead of being actual underground trees. But yeah, at least one of them got cut down. I think 2, because I've seen yellow and white wood here. So both of them are jobless at the moment, the miners. So if they didn't remove that staircase yet, it just means it cannot be removed at the moment, so well, you know what, I can just designate a finished goods stockpile somewhere here. Let's leave some space for some additional workshops though. And yeah, now it's time for like living areas. So let's dig out something here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's 12. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So just 11 in white. Width, it should be enough for now. So one of them will dig for now. The other one can increase this area yet. We also have the first visitor, who is a human maceman. Eventually I will get some visitors to stay in my fortress permanently, especially monster slayers, because they will go down and hunt monsters, and I won't have to worry about every monster like manually, you know. I won't have to send my military squads for every single one. So this here will be the first barracks. I only need one, but I'll create two of them right away just because I can. And there's some silver lying around. We'll get a little bit more, and also smelt every piece of hematite you can find, because there will be a lot of uses for iron eventually. One of the dwarf is digging, the other one, I don't know what he's doing. I think he cannot escape this. He's stuck. So there's... let's make a little staircase here. It has been created, so he was actually stuck. And let's remove this one, because this guy is free. Maybe it's not even necessary to remove that, because this area here only has downward staircases, so I will remove this designation here. The other guy is free now. I'm glad I noticed, because he could die out of thirst eventually. Okay, so I think that's enough for this episode. In the next one, I will be creating the first dwarven military. So if you are interested in that, feel free to watch it. And see you in that new episode.